Hi everyone. Today we'll talk about the future of some live service games like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And I will also compare it with a long-living but currently performing really bad Destiny 2 I've been playing a lot for years. And at first let's dive into this week's developers update of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So let's read the article and after that we'll discuss everything and we'll make some conclusions. Hello people of Metropolis. It's less than 2 weeks now until the release of Season 1, which means it's almost time to refuel your jetpack, charge up your bedroom or crack open a can of your favorite Australian lager as you dive into a new Elseworld. First of all, let's start with an update on the state of the game and the next patch. State of the game. We know that many of you are eagerly awaiting the next patch, which will include many fixes and improvements to ongoing issues. This patch will be released on Tuesday, March 26th and will include the download for Season 1, which will go live on Thursday, March 28th. Additionally, we are continuing to work on backend fixes to improve login, load time, and multiplayer issues. Earlier this week, we implemented a backend fix and have already seen improvements which we think will alleviate issues for a number of our players. For players still experiencing multiplayer or load time issues, we also recommend resetting your custom key bindings and or controller layers to default. This should help reduce these issues for more players while we work on a solution for all players. This fix also included an improvement to matchmaking, making it easier for you all to find other players to join your squad in multiplayer sessions. Well guys, Season 1 is almost here, bringing with an entirely new meta with a new character, gear, mutators and more. But in the remaining days of Finite Crisis, there is still time to climb up those mastery levels, and we've got the perfect builds for you to get there. Three of our, here we can see different content creators builds. As far as I can see on Rocksteady, on Suicide Squad official YouTube channel, okay. Who wants to be a millionaire? After you guys quickly deduced the DC supervillain for last week's teaser, plus a couple of other hints for Season 1 in that video, we wanted to give you another preview of an notorious weapon coming soon. It took us a while to choose which weapon to show, but in the end we had to tip our hat to how good this one looks. We appreciate your patience while we work on fixes and content for Season 1. We look forward to sharing more information in the coming weeks. So, by the way, Suicide Squad provides you really cool gameplay with high build crafting potential. I really enjoy playing this game and making new builds as far as you can see on my channel, but the game suffers from some very serious problems. They are, and let's talk about these problems. They are. At first, we need to talk about server issues, particularly login issues. Developers even created a specific channel in Discord because it's a quite mess problem. For 2 months and a half already, players simply can't log in with a crash at login screen. And for some players the problem was resolved, but the company is fixing this issue in a live queue for every single player, but not with a fix for everyone. Sadly, big companies work in this way. If you are a developer and a big publisher, you need to send every single fix to the publisher so that they check it and allow its release. It can take up to several weeks, and this is why Rocksteady decided to try to solve this problem, not as a fix, but for every particular player to avoid this whole process with Warner Bros. Maybe I'm wrong, of course, maybe I'm wrong, but all other companies work with the same model, and it's the reason why we still didn't get the fix. Leaderboards need better rewards. It's another very big issue because currently we have only one shader for rank 100 of Finite Crisis. Otherwise, if we have no other rewards climbing leaderboards, simply there is no reason to climb leaderboards. Another very big issue is cheaters. Cheaters for 4 weeks already, the same people are in top 10 of every single activity in the game, with 2 billion points put into every single passive skill. So just imagine, you're trying to play this game, you're trying to climb leaderboard, you're trying to reach, for example, even top 100, but you simply can't. Because top 10 or even further, top 20, top 30, all places are taken by people with several billion points into every passive skill points. And they're literally one-shotting everything. You can't compete with them if you are playing fair. And another issue coming from the previous, quite obvious, anti-cheat system is simply not working. So why do we have an anti-cheat system if it's just taking place on our drives and not doing anything at all? Another issue, not an issue, but more like an advice to developers, the game needs offline mode as soon as possible. Even fans may return to the game despite all the problems mentioned, simply because Rocksteady fans want single-player games after wonderful single-player offline Arkham games like Batman Arkham Knight and from another Warner Bros. Studios, if I remember correctly. It's also Rocksteady game, yeah. It's also Rocksteady game because in the starting title there was a very big name of the studios, Gotham Knights. Also quite nice game with a really nice end game mechanics, with a quite nice rate, with a quite fun build crafting mechanics. So fans just want offline games, and even developers, Rocksteady, even mentioned before the release, before the launch of the game, they mentioned that there is an offline mode in their plans, but they will launch it later after the release of the game. So the game needs offline mode as soon as possible to make fans return to this game. And for everything mentioned, not Rocksteady is to blame, but Warner Bros. They made single-player creators make a live service game with no experience at all in creating it. Almost every live service for the last 5 years failed, as far as I can see, except at Helldivers 2 and some other projects, but they are fans of Space Troopers game, and simply because there is no alternative to such absurd militarism gameplay with pure gunplay and crazy atmosphere. Say hi to all democracy delivers. And honestly speaking, a lot of things are made right in Suicide Squad, even if we take this game as a live service. Look at current state of my favorite Destiny 2. That was once one of the most popular live service games. But what do we have now? An awful story narrative. After Julia Nardin left, she was a seasonal and DLC story writer for a very long period of time. If I remember correctly, she also was a story lead during Halo times, if I remember correctly. But if I remember, yeah. Different nerfs of everything that players love to play with, balancing in a way like nerf this today, reverse this nerf tomorrow, increasing overall difficulty of the game, cutting away content every season, every 3 months, content you even paid for, say hi to Sunsetting, and completely unbalanced sandbox in both PvP and PvE, starting with classy restoration mods in Season of the Haunted. And also, let's talk about awful technical state, since Witch Queen DLC, several new bugs every week. I will show you right now a very wonderful YouTube channel called Cheese Forever, and he is covering all the bugs and glitches in Destiny 2. Just look, every 2 days and sometimes even every day, we have new glitches and new critical game-breaking bugs that simply just prevents you from completing your everyday activities. So just look at the technical state of Destiny 2, one of the most successful ones and most famous and popular live service games. So, and it's not the full list of Destiny 2 problems. In addition, Bungie killed PvP with no fun playing it at all, where you cannot progress because of the broken skill-based matchmaking. That's giving you all the time same skill level players in all PvP modes except trials, a new PvP sandbox that was changed previous week in patch 7.3.5, where all abilities cooldowns were increased, and Green Emma, it's an Emma in Destiny 2, if you're not familiar with its system, it's an Emma you are using for such weapons like sniper rifles, shotguns, and some other weapons. So the Green Emma now do not drop from enemies but in PvP, but need to be charged with skills. With skills! In skill-based matchmaking. In addition, in Destiny 2 there are modifiers in almost every single activity that make you play with particular guns, but not with the guns you want. And I didn't even mention build crafting, because build crafting also was cut in Destiny 2 last DLC called Lightfall. with half of the mods simply removed from the game, that now you can play only melee builds, grenade builds, and several gun builds, and it's all. If you're talking about meta, if you're talking about difficult pinnacle activities like, for example, Grandmasters, etc., etc. And I didn't even mention completely absurd monetization with DLC with 4-hour story for $100 and $20 for one costume and complete absence of any new mechanics for several years. All the mechanics are like you simply take something, object or buff, and pass it into some sorts of bank or vault. In comparison, Suicide Squad doing everything right except of Warner Bros. Grid. That led to critical technical state of the game that developers can't fix in a full way for 2 months already. Big companies, as a result, let's make some conclusion and what we can see. Big companies hired a lot of people during pandemic. They extended a lot, but now with the world crisis because of the old world events and conflicts, everyone is trying to cut expenses and make fast money the easiest way possible. But earning such amounts of money in such little time requires either a big luck or a great talent, but not the same copies from one another typical products. And here we have live services that simply not attracting players anymore because developers or publishers simply trying to copy success formula of once very popular game that nowadays dying itself because of the greed and lack of the developer's passion to create something really unique and exciting. And now I want to show you one last thing, one last article. It was an article by GameIndustry.biz. I will add all the links to all these articles and to this channel, Cheese Forever, with all the cheeses and glitches, so you can see everything by yourself in the description. So check the description on this video. And now let's look at this article, because it's called Reports 95% of studios are working on or aim to release a live service game. In the survey of 537 game studios, live ops development teams want faster content releases. And let's jump to the conclusion of this article. Across the industry, live service teams reported their ideal production schedules as a weekly to bi-weekly for live ops cadences and bi-weekly to monthly for game content updates. In the context of game development, which typically spans multiple years, live service production schedules are moving at breakneck speed. So yes, what do we see? Big companies are all trying to follow the same path of live services, but it's quite obvious that without real innovation in such type of games, these games will face the destiny of one of the most popular ones and successful live services. Yes, Destiny 2. I'm talking about you. So thank you guys for your attention and thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more videos like this, more talking videos, some reviews, different builds, different patch notes explains, endgame explains, like and see on this channel. And we will see you in the next video. Good luck.